It started with a knock, sharp, impatient, and full of entitlement. I still remember the way my wife froze, holding our newborn in her arms as the echo rattled through the house. It was the kind of knock that said, "You're in trouble." When I opened the door, there she stood. Karen, the self-appointed queen of our HOA. Her hair was perfectly curled, lips pursed, and a clipboard clutched tight like a weapon. Behind her sunglasses, I could almost feel the judgment radiating. "Do you know," she began, voice dripping with sarcasm, "that your baby's crying violates our community's noise policy after 8 p.m.? I thought she was joking. My wife and I had just brought our son home from the hospital 2 weeks earlier. Sleep was rare, and peace even rarer. But we never imagined a crying baby could become an HOA issue. "Karen," I said carefully, "he's a newborn. He's not exactly on a schedule yet." She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "If this continues, I'll make a formal complaint. Or maybe I'll handle it my way." That "my way" sent chills down my spine. Over the next few days, things escalated fast. We started finding anonymous letters on our porch, typed, unsigned, full of threats. "Control your baby or face consequences." One morning, someone had written "no noise" in chalk across our driveway. My wife grew terrified. She didn't want to leave the house, didn't even want to take the baby for walks. And then came the night that broke us. We woke up to our baby monitor flashing. Movement outside the nursery window. I rushed in and saw a shadow retreating from the yard. A woman's figure. Karen's platinum hair glinting under the porch light. I wanted to believe I was mistaken. That maybe I was imagining things. But deep down I knew. Karen had crossed from annoying to dangerous. The next morning, her husband, David, was at our door. He looked exhausted, eyes red. "I think you need to know something about my wife," he said quietly, "before it's too late." And that's when everything we thought we knew about Karen and the HOA started to unravel. David's voice trembled as he stepped into our living room, glancing over his shoulder like someone being watched. His hands fidgeted with his wedding ring, a habit that instantly told me something was wrong. "I shouldn't even be here," he whispered. "If Karen finds out, she'll lose it. But I can't stay quiet anymore." He sat down, exhaling heavily. "She's been different. Ever since she became HOA president, it's like power changed her. She doesn't sleep, barely eats. She keeps talking about enforcing order, like she's on some mission." My wife, still clutching the baby monitor, asked softly, "What does that have to do with us?" David hesitated, then looked her straight in the eye. "Karen has been watching your house. She's obsessed with your baby. She says your family is ruining the neighborhood's peace. She's been taking photos, keeping logs of every time the baby cries." My stomach dropped. "You're saying she's spying on us?" He nodded, guilt heavy on his face. "She installed cameras near your fence, hidden ones. I told her to stop, but she said the HOA needed evidence. Last night, she left the house with gloves and a flashlight. When I saw your porch light flick on, I knew she was there." My wife gasped. "She was outside our nursery window." David's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. I even called the HOA vice president, but they're scared of her too. Everyone is." I felt my anger rising. "This isn't just harassment, it's stalking." He nodded again. "I've started recording her. I have proof, audio, text messages, even her notes. But I need to know you'll go to the police with me." The weight of his words hung in the room like smoke. Karen wasn't just a nosy neighbor, she was dangerous, unstable, and out of control. That night, I barely slept. Every creak in the house made me jump. Every gust of wind against the window made me think she was back. When morning came, we met David in his car, parked a few houses down. He showed us everything, folders of photos, timestamps, recordings of Karen muttering about noise violators. But what shook us the most was the last file. A voice memo she'd recorded herself. Her voice was calm, cold, and terrifying. "If they won't listen," she said, "then I'll make them. I'll make them silence that baby myself." I looked at David. "We have to go to the police, now." He nodded. "I already did. And what they found next will change everything." When we arrived at the police station, I expected skepticism, maybe even dismissal. Instead, the officer's expression shifted the moment David handed them his phone. The lead detective, a stern man named Reed, plugged in the audio file and pressed play. Karen's chilling voice filled the room. "I warned them. That baby won't cry much longer." Reed's jaw tightened. He paused the recording halfway through and exchanged a look with his partner. "You did the right thing coming here," he said quietly. "But this goes deeper than you think." He asked us to wait while he stepped into the back office. Minutes later, he returned with photos spread across a folder. My blood ran cold. They were surveillance stills from a neighbor's security camera. Grainy, but clear enough. Karen, standing outside our window, holding something metallic. Reed tapped the photo. "This was taken 2 nights ago. One of your neighbors reported suspicious movement near your yard. We didn't have a suspect until now." My wife's voice trembled. "What was she holding?" "A hammer," he replied. "And based on the angle, she was trying to pry the window frame open." David buried his face in his hands. "Oh my God," Reed continued. "We searched Karen's property this morning after your husband's tip. Found several hidden cameras pointed at multiple houses, including yours. But there's more." He slid over a plastic evidence bag. Inside was a crumpled piece of paper with bold letters scrawled across it. "Silence the source or I will." The handwriting matched the notes left on our porch. That was enough. The police issued an immediate restraining order against Karen and planned a search warrant for her house. David agreed to cooperate fully, despite his fear of what his wife might do next. That night, we were told to stay with family until further notice. Still, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her shadow at the window. The next morning, we got the call. Officers had raided Karen's home at dawn. What they found stunned even the most hardened detectives. Her garage had been transformed into a command center monitors, displaying live feeds from hidden cameras all around the neighborhood. Folders labeled noise offenders, rule breakers, and security threats. But the most disturbing thing? One folder bore our last name. Inside were printed photos of our baby. Sleeping, eating, crying, all taken through our windows. Detective Reed's voice shook slightly when he called. "We've charged her with multiple counts of harassment, unlawful surveillance, and attempted break-in. But there's something else. Something her husband didn't know." When Detective Reed called us back to the station, his tone was different. He sounded cautious, almost hesitant. My heart pounded as we walked in, clutching our baby tighter than ever. David was already there, sitting in silence, his face pale and hollow. Reed motioned for us to sit. "We've questioned Karen," he began slowly. "At first, she denied everything. But then, when we showed her the evidence, especially the photos, she broke." He slid a recording device across the table. "You might want to hear this." Karen's voice came through, shaky at first but filled with something twisted underneath. "They wouldn't listen. I tried to tell them the rules are there for a reason. The neighborhood used to be quiet, peaceful, before that baby. Every night the crying, it got into my head. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I just wanted silence." My wife covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Karen continued, her tone darkening. "I thought if I scared them enough, they'd leave. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Not really. But then I saw the baby's window open. I told myself I'd just close it. That's all." A pause, then her voice cracked. "But when I looked in and saw that tiny face, I just snapped." Reed stopped the recording. "She's been charged with attempted harm of a minor and multiple counts of stalking. She's currently in psychiatric evaluation before sentencing." David sat there trembling. "She told me she was just checking for safety violations. I had no idea it had gotten this far." Reed nodded solemnly. "She hid it well. We also found drafts of HOA, letters she never sent, plans to evict anyone she considered noisy. She was preparing to take full control of the entire neighborhood. It was hard to process. The woman who used to wave at us from across the street had turned into a monster, fueled by obsession and power. Weeks later, the neighborhood felt quieter, not in fear, but in relief. The HOA voted to remove Karen permanently, and David moved away soon after, leaving only a brief note that read, "I hope one day she finds peace, and I hope you can forgive me." We never saw either of them again. Sometimes late at night when our son cries, I still glance at the window. Just for a second, I half expect to see that familiar shadow standing there. But then I remind myself Karen's gone. And this time, silence means safety. If that twist shocked you, drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more insane HOA Karen stories every week.